now it's time for our first panel on the stage, representing green transformed businesses. I would like to invite to the stage Maria Kosanova, Country Manager at Hewlett Packard Enterprise, Mariana Iteva, Deputy Country Director Bulgaria and CE Industry Development Director at Veolia, Galina Parmenter, ESG Senior Adviser at Yettel, and our moderator, SHEleader, Managing Partner and Director at Launch Labs Sofia. Let me tell you, please, a round of applause for them. Let me tell you a bit more about Elina, and she'll introduce the others in more detail. SHEleader is the Executive Director and Managing Partner at Launch Labs Sofia, an international business redesign studio with offices in Sofia, Bratislava, Berlin, Basel, and Bangalore. Elina has worked on large-scale business redesign projects with focus on mindset, experience, and space redesign. She has graduated from the leading design thinking schools and was a pioneer in introducing the methodology in Bulgarian CE. Actually, my first meeting with design thinking was again through Elina a long time ago. So let's get it on. Sorry, something very important. Before the panel begins, I would like to draw your attention to a special chair we have here on stage. Check it out. Whoop. So this is our special chair. I probably won't be able to hold it for much longer. So I'll just leave it here. This is your chair, quite literally. We believe all of you here are leaders and deserve to be on the stage. So if you would like to ask a question or add to the discussion, please raise your hand and join us. The chair itself, let me just put it here so it's more visible. The chair itself is part of the initiative 100 Chairs. This is an initiative which unlocks abandoned city spaces. How? Through subtle architectural interventions, cultural events, and chairs. During the breaks, you can check the installation, which is placed outside of the hall, and get familiar with the initiative. This summer, 100 Chairs transformed the iconic hill on Budapest Street, sitting above Arena di Serdica and the Goethe Institute. Socially responsible businesses can advertise through the initiative, with the proceeds being reinvested for improving the city environment. The creator of 100 Chairs is Martin Yankov, creator of the Collective Foundation and the Rivers of the City. Elina, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the least important person on this stage, and I want you to know the people that are with me. And I think the best way to get to know them is to ask them to present themselves. I won't be able to tell you in all the details what they have achieved in their lives. So, ladies, I really want the audience to know you. Could you shortly present yourselves? How did you get involved with the green transformation topic? Why do you work so passionately on it? What drives you? Maybe even what frustrates you? Maria?
Starting from me? Okay, thank you, Elina. First, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to be here with you, all of you. Sasha, thank you personally to you. Thanks to you, I'm part of BCWT and also part of this conference. Usually, I'm very nervous talking publicly, but I feel now very comfortable, so thank you for all of you. And I don't know why they moved the chair, because it's exactly me, but anyway. So my name is Maria Kosanova, and for those who don't know me, I have been working for the technological giant Hewlett Packard Enterprise for almost 15 years. A year and a half ago, I took the management of the local representation office naming Hewlett Packard Enterprise operated by Selectium. Maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but sustainability is and has always been at the forefront of HP strategy. And I'm very proud to tell you that HP is committed to become a net zero company across its entire value chain until 2040. We already heard this year from Cisco. Now from us, it seems that it is very crucial year for all of us. I'm sure that companies will keep their commitment for that. And now for myself, I can say that my green and sustainability attitude that dates back from my early childhood. At that time, we didn't use exactly these words. Some of you probably remember, maybe not all of you. But I remember that I was often outdoor with my father, and we spent at least 2 weeks in the mountain. And I really liked the mountains and the nature in Bulgaria. At that time, this topic was not so popular. There were not so many sources of information on that. But my father simply explained to me how what we have to do, how to treat the nature and the resources we draw from it, and that's I think very important. He explained to me why we shouldn't throw plastic away, and even why it's better not to use it at all. Still, in that time, I knew what the paper is made of and why we should recycle it. I also knew that I should, and not only I, but we should conserve the water, because it is a very precious resource, and we can just, it could just run out. We need really to think about this and keep it. Maybe this sounds like a very trivial example, but I believe that the family has the foundation upon which every child begins to build its value system. The way I was brought up is the reason I started to think about how my action actually impacts the nature and the environment, and what I have to be careful of. Fortunately, through my current position in the company I work for, I have also the opportunity to participate in various initiatives in their creation and implementation on a larger scale, not just on my personal social circle. So that's how I started.
Thanks for sharing.
So, my name is Mariana Iteva, and I'm Deputy Country Director for Veolia in Bulgaria, and also hold a position at Central and Eastern Europe level as Industry Development Director. Have been involved with environmental services throughout my career over the past more than 23 years. I started back in the UK just by accident when I graduated my MBA in the UK, and I had to look for a career, and I admit that my first choice was not environmental services sector. I was more oriented towards financial services, but fate kind of worked in my favor, and I started just by chance on a temporary position working in one of the big water companies in the UK. They are all private companies. And I liked it so much that I continued working and continued my career. And for the past 13 years, I've been working at Veolia, moved back to Bulgaria when Bulgaria joined the EU, because my firm belief is that the advantage of being a member of the EU is that you can work anywhere and where you feel that you can contribute best. So I'm really proud to be working for a company like Veolia, which aims to be the global leader for ecological transformation, providing practical solutions in the areas of water, energy and waste services. I do believe in the fact that global corporations, big companies, have to be the leaders, and in this effort to mitigate the impacts of several crises that we are happening now simultaneously. The climate change, which we can all see how it's impacting Europe and the rest of the world with the floods, with the droughts, with the hurricanes, with the extreme weather, heat waves, lack of water supply. So for me, this is a real personal passion of mine, is to kind of educate people, starting with my friends, closest friends, especially the impact on children is quite big, because through children we can influence the behavior of their parents. In Bulgaria, we are better known for Sofia Voda. We are a majority shareholder of the company. I'm a member of the board of directors of the company, but we also have a business, district heating business in Varna. And we are now at the forefront of, in Europe, but also around the world, in making our operations more sustainable, greener, but also helping our clients, whether they're industrial companies or municipal companies, to make their operations more resilient. On a more personal note, just like Maria, I was really keen, and my interest in nature started with my teacher in the primary school, a biology teacher. And I took a passionate interest in botanics and collecting herbs in the mountains. I'm quite familiar with all the herbs, and also I was growing up, born in a very beautiful village near Pazarchik, so I never had this connection with nature broken. Mainly I was having my own little garden, where I was growing different plants and beautiful flowers. And my grandmother, after whom I'm named, she was kind of helping me to take care of these plants and flowers. And this interest in plants and different flowers, even more exotic ones, kept me very linked with nature, and it continued to date. About 5 years ago, I kind of fulfilled my personal dream, and now the garden where my parents live, I turned it into a beautiful garden with more than 130 different types of plants, trees, and flowers.
That's impressive.
Yes,
that is really impressive.
And it's really kind of feeding my soul. With whenever I go there, I manage to bring back the butterflies, different bees, and svetulki, fireflies. Yes. So I'm really passionate about biodiversity and about all this stuff, which is really impacting our lives at the moment.
Thanks for sharing. Gala, last but not least.
Yes, thank you. My name is Galina Parmenter. I'm part of Yettel, and my sustainability career started a bit more than 10 years ago when I traveled the world. I went to Southeast Asia, South Africa, Central America, and I realized that my reality was not the reality of many of those people. I realized that I was one of those 27% of people in the world that has income beyond the living wage, that has access to free education and free good health care. And I thought that this is not fair. I had a business degree, and I decided that I want to help businesses be more sustainable and have a purpose. And this is how I started. And I'm very happy that I'm part of Yettel's team, which is one of the very few companies in Bulgaria that indeed have this purpose. And I'm more than happy to share a bit more later.
Yeah, we're going right into that topic. Thanks for sharing I'm happy to see a panel that is well connected to childhood memories, to the inner voice of, what is right and what is wrong. But how do we bring this to companies? That's the main topic of our panel. How do we transform? How do we green businesses? And I'd like to ask you, how did the green transformation journey of your companies started? When did it start? Why it started? Where are you now as a company in that journey? What have you achieved? What have you learned? What have you measured? What remains? Galia, shall we make a turn here? Yeah, thank you.
So we connect more than 3 million customers in Bulgaria, and we're on the market for around 20 years. And to connect these customers, and I think the representative from Cisco said it well, it requires enormous amounts of energy. And in fact, at the global scale, we are looking that the demand for mobile data is increasing 60% on an annual basis every year. So instead of decreasing the energy consumption and the environmental footprint, it is expected to increase. And in fact, the telecommunication industry, to a surprise for many of you in the room, is contributing to 3 to 4% of the CO2 emissions, which is twice as more than aviation. And another big problem and a challenge in our industry is the generation of e-waste, so electronic waste, which is right now the fastest growing waste in the world. And having reviewed these challenges, and alongside with many other within the social side, it's Yettel. A couple of months ago, we started building upon the legacy of the company before on corporate social responsibility and creating a holistic sustainability strategy that is focused on environment, people, and technology for innovation. The strategy will be announced in 2 weeks on 19th of October, so stay tuned. And also as kind of a sum up of what I said, probably many of you know that the company got rebranded with this new brand beginning of this year. And it is not by accident that the notion and the motto of the Yettel brand is in balance with nature, in balance with everything around us and with active living, because we want to be enabler for our customers and for the society in Bulgaria to have a more sustainable life. So that's in a nutshell our journey so far.
Okay, strategy done, rebranding done.
19th of October.
19th of October. Excellent. What about Veolia?
Well, we started the journey towards ecological transformation quite a long time ago, and just like with Yettel, our purpose as a group was formulated a few years ago. We have a net zero strategy to become net zero by 2050 based on 3 pillars. The first one is plastic recycling. We aim to double the amount of plastics that we recycle around the world by 2023. And I don't know whether you're aware, but the use of recycled plastics in bottles and other products emits 70% less CO2 emissions than the use of virgin plastic. So this has a big impact on the decarbonization of our clients' activities. The second pillar is the methane capture. This is a biogas that is released at landfills that we operate in our waste services division. And, but also we capture methane biogas at our wastewater treatment plants. And just to mention, one of our leading examples is right here in Sofia, where the wastewater treatment plant of Sofia, which is one of the biggest in the Balkans, is fully energy self-sufficient. We produce the heat and electricity that are needed for this plant entirely from the waste, which is the sludge. And This is usually the biggest consumer of electricity in any water company. So for the time being, we are 85% energy self-sufficient and hope in the next 3 years to become 100% energy self-sufficient. So we do have these excellent examples in Bulgaria as well. The third pillar is carbon capture and storage utilization. We are teaming up with the leader in this field, Carbon Clean Solutions, to use their low-cost carbon solution, and thus to be able to use the CO2 which is captured to produce renewable energy. And this is quite a big topic for us at Veolia. We, at the same time, are greening our operations, but also these of our clients. Just a few concrete examples. We are developing electric vehicles and solar panels, electric vehicle batteries recycling and solar panel recycling in a closed loop, meaning that we recover all the metals, especially the precious metals, so that they can be used in the production of new electric vehicle batteries, like cobalt, which is not available in Europe, but also lithium and nickel, which are all available in countries that are outside the European Union. Another interesting solution is impacted directly by the climate crisis and what happened this year in France. You probably heard about the droughts in France. So what we are doing there, we are doing it elsewhere as well, but there we are teaming up with local authorities, and all our wastewater treatment plants in France, which are over 100, will be reusing wastewater for irrigation purposes and to help mitigate this issue of lack of water. And the other thing that we are doing is that our services in France, where we have one of the biggest business activities, will be entirely energy self-sufficient in the next 4 years. And this is thanks to producing renewable electricity from non-recyclable waste, but also from methane gas. So a lot of practical solutions that here they are working, we are applying them. At the same time, we are working on developing new solutions, the solutions for tomorrow, and helping our clients, helping governments, helping municipalities, cities to become more resilient and to be able to utilize these circular economy principles in practice.
That's amazing, and we'll dig deeper into some of the examples. Let's first hear what HPE's journey has been so far and what they have learned.
I'm really impressed of what all the companies are doing on that area, and that we see so many companies with their environmental and social responsibility. For HPE, I would like to share that in June 22nd this year, HPE unveiled its annual Living Progress Report for fiscal year 2021, demonstrating the company's ongoing commitment to create more sustainable world. I'm sure that I won't be able to summarize everything very quickly, so it's better to see the video which we prepared. Please.
HPE believes addressing climate change isn't just a moral imperative, it's also a business opportunity to drive innovation while also helping our customers thrive in a carbon-constrained world. We see our technology as the key enabler to accelerating sustainable solutions across industries. And we're also helping our customers achieve their own climate goals. For example, HPE is innovating solutions, such as end-to-end high-performance computing technologies, to tackle a range of climate-related challenges, from predicting extreme weather events to discovering new sources of renewable energy. And HPE is walking the walk. HPE is committed to becoming a net zero enterprise across our entire value chain by the year 2040. And we have a roadmap to get there. By 2030, we've pledged to reduce emissions within our own operations by 70%. We will also reduce our Scope 3 emissions by 42%, focusing on the use of our sold products, upstream transportation and distribution, and direct supply chain emissions. By 2040, we plan to reduce emissions across our value chain by 90%. Arriving at all of these points along the way will require a fundamental transformation in everything we do. We will ignite our innovation engine to develop more sustainable IT solutions. And we will lead by example. By 2030, we will procure 100% renewable electricity for our own operations and will encourage our suppliers to do the same. We will transition our fleet vehicles to low or zero emissions and partner with our suppliers to source materials within a circular economy. And, most importantly, our solutions and services will enable our customers to meet their own net zero ambitions. The race to net zero is one we all need to win. Together, we're on our way to net zero and a cleaner future for all. Join us on that road.
The video is good. Thanks for sharing as well. Impressive journeys. I like to congratulate you that you don't just talk the talk and you walk the walk, as was said a few times. What was easy and what was difficult on this journey?
To be honest, I cannot go deeply into this conversation because our company is really big and worldwide, and I was not part, unfortunately, I was not part of all the initiatives. But I can give you some tiny examples from our office, but really with really important meaning. I don't remember all the internal initiatives in our office. Of course, I cannot do this, but I just know that in our office we don't use any plastic cups, we don't use any plastic bottles for water. And you can imagine this, even this simple and trivial example, you can imagine what impact could have it if we manage to implement this and influence on all our social circle, our friends, our family. We can really have a big impact on that. So on top of that, we have many volunteer programs, and people who participate in these volunteer programs, usually maybe more than half of the initiatives are focused on the environment, on the green, on sustainability. And I'm really happy and to see how one corporate company, one big company can influence on their people and how they can transition what they learn and what they see in the offices in their company, transition this into their families and to their friends. So that's what I can share from our day-to-day experience. This is how we live, this is how we think, and that's what our company is doing for us and for the environment.
So empowering employees towards the sustainability journey. Let's speak a little bit more about how we empower internal stakeholders like employees, but also external stakeholders. Any other examples that you guys have implemented?
I can share our examples for engaging our clients and society. But before I do that, I would like to play a very short video and then I'll tell you the story.
Another video, please.
Faced with the environmental emergency, how can we reduce the impact of our human activities? How can we provide sustainable and economically viable solutions? Hubgrade services are both digital and human and provide answers to these two questions. By using large amounts of data to remotely visualize, evaluate and optimize resource management, they deliver a better environmental performance for industry and the service sector and a better life quality for communities. These services enable us to take care of water at every stage of its cycle. They are based on real-time monitoring of installations and networks, thanks to data collected by our teams, by sensors or by drones. Hubgrade services also provide the means to make buildings intelligent by optimizing their energy consumption and generation, and even making them energy positive. They also make it possible to control indoor air quality with a direct impact on users' health. Hubgrade services take waste recovery even further. They ensure traceability and meet logistical challenges of cities. They optimize the transformation into resources. These services allow for preventive and even predictive action. A unique and innovative approach for our clients to help them take action and to enable us to intervene in a targeted, simple, and flexible way. Combining historical know-how and data innovation, Hubgrade solutions are there to meet the challenge of environmental transformation.
Continue?
Yeah, I guess, it makes
Okay.
sense that
it's
you
about
give us an example.
digitalization.
Yeah,
I just
sure.
wanted to talk about our latest smart solution that we are applying to our operations, but also to help our clients decarbonize their activities. Because we firmly believe that digitalization is very important for the green transformation, for the ecological transformation, and that it can not just facilitate it, but speed it up. And this is something that we apply to all our operations, and it's a combination of the human expertise, the expertise of all our employees, and the software and the digital aspect of it. Right now, it's quite topical due to the energy crisis because we can guarantee between 5 and 25% of improved energy efficiency. And as we all know, the cheapest energy is the one that is not used and it's saved. And we also expand the lifespan of all our equipment and the equipment of our clients by that. But going back to what Maria said and what you, Elena, said, is the most challenging part is to how all these concepts and ideas about the ecological transformation, how they resonate with our employees on their daily work. And this is very important for us to communicate, but to make people really believe that with the small steps, the small things that we do in our daily life, whether it's at work or at home, we are contributing towards a greener future. And judging on what's happening in the world in terms of weather extremes, we must act now. We don't even have time for a green transition. We have to take some radical steps, some radical solutions, because if we don't do it, then, as Sasha said at the beginning, it's the future of humanity which is at stake here and is threatened, because the planet, the Mother Nature, will find its way of renewing itself. So this is what I can say about it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I'll ask for the Yettel video to be displayed, and then Gale can add one more very interesting example, because you see we have 3 giant companies on stage, and if they're not green transforming themselves, I guess we're not doing anything. So let's hear one more example and then close this panel elegantly.
Ако не рециклираш стария си телефон, все едно го хвърляш в природата. Това оставя огромен отпечатък, който се увеличава всяка година. Заедно можем да подобрим ситуацията. Затова създадохме Рециклирай и спести. Yettel. Лесно за теб, в баланс с природата.
So, in fact, you asked about the challenges, and sustainability is complex. It's difficult to understand, it's difficult to measure, And at Yettel, we wanted to put a human face on it. We wanted to make it simple for our clients, for our employees, and we launched this Recycle and Save campaign that's been running for quite many months, and it's one of the main initiatives that we'll have, which is simply saying everybody has a phone, everybody has many phones, because on average in Europe, a person changes his or her phone every 2 years, which of course generates a lot of e-waste. So please come to us, no matter if you're a client or not, and we will recycle it with our partners. So it's a very simple message, and we want to urge the society in Bulgaria to make these small steps that Mariana was also saying, and to give them trust that it will matter. And you can do something good for yourself, clean up the drawers at home or at your grandmother's house, and bring those devices, because as a matter of fact, only 17% worldwide of those devices are properly disposed. What happens to the rest, it's an unknown. And as a matter of fact, there are a lot of metals in a phone that can be recycled multiple times, and the waste can become a resource. So it can be used for production of new devices. So this has been our message. It's one of many initiatives that we have. And as I said, we just want to put a human face and to show that it is not that difficult.
So what happens to the phones that we give you?
So we work with a partner, so two things happen to them. So one way is that after we get the phone, the partner inspects them, and if they can be repaired, they are repaired, and in fact they are reused in a secondary market, so they are put back into the use cycle to extend their life. And if they can't be repaired, then they're fully recycled, and all the metals and all the useful materials are extracted from them, and most of those materials are used for the production of other phones.
Okay, excellent. So speaking of phones, I'd like to ask the audience one question, and you can participate in that using your phone. So before that, I'll ask our technical team to pop up on the screen the slide with the QR code. Right. Okay, so here is a little surprise, also I think for my panelists. We prepared something that we call the SHEleader Compass. The SHEleader Compass asks you one question: which quote relates to you the most? And there are 3 possible answers. Here is a plan, here is a result, and here is a vision. So if you're in the audience, pull out your phone, scan the QR code, and choose your preference. Choose the statement that most resonates with you, that speaks to you, that drives you now on a daily basis in your work. You don't have to register, you don't have to leave your email or even name. And I'll ask the audience in person, what is the quote that resonates to you the most? Maria?
I didn't think about this, but before, really, please allow me to share something more, because I missed some very important information, and it is related to what we discuss. Maybe you don't know, but 10% of the Earth's electricity is coming from the technology we use. And this year, we expect to have e-waste of 50 million tons. You can imagine how big this and what is the impact of this. And I would like to mention something, that it's not only how we, what we are doing with the legacy electronic equipment, but it's also about how we use. Because maybe we don't need 2 phones, we need 1. Maybe we don't need to change our phone each year. Maybe we can change in 3 years, in 4 or 5. And we should think about how we consume the equipment and how we use the equipment. And I would like to share that HP is really doing a lot of things around this towards their customers and helping them decrease the impact decrease the electricity they use and the energy cost they are paying. And you probably don't know, maybe some of you know, but we promised to become an as-a-service company in 2022, and we are. And what does it mean for the environment is that we help our customer to use their IT equipment without over-provisioning, which means they can use less, only what they need. And that's the consumption model, and that's how it impacts the energy use. And maybe you don't know, but the largest factory for recycling is HP1 in Andover, USA. And sorry but I really wanted to say this. It's very important.
It's perfectly fine. Anyone else that wants to share something that we didn't have the chance to ask to share? Last chance. Anyone from the audience that wants to take the violet chair? Get used to it, because it will stay there throughout the day. But coming back to the SHEleader compass, one sentence from you. Do you want to share which one resonates with you the most? And I'll tell you what is behind every quote.
For me, what resonates the most is here's a result.
Here's result. Mariana?
Here is a vision.
Here is a vision. Maria?
I can say for the female audience, trust yourself and your instincts, and I think that's what we are doing.
Okay, excellent. So for the audience, behind every quote there are some superpowers. There is a certain leadership archetype with superpowers that we can use to forward the topic of sustainability. And I'll come back later on stage, so stay throughout the whole day. So towards the end, I'll come back on stage and share with you first the results from the audience participation in the survey, but most importantly, what is the superpower depending on which quote you have chosen, and how can we use our collective superpowers to move forward on the topic of green transformation in businesses, in communities, and sustainability. Thank you. You were lovely.
Thank you.